Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tip. Julian here for another waiver wire episode. This one for week 18 of the fantasy hockey season. If you haven't already, drop a like on this video and hit that subscribe button on this channel if you haven't already. I'll be dropping waiver wire episodes every single week until the end of the season. All right. Let's jump right into the content now, guys, and let's take a look at the schedule for week 18. And on Monday, there was only one game. That's Nashville versus Ottawa. On Tuesday, there are 14 games, Wednesday 3, Thursday 9, Friday 5, Saturday 14, and Sunday 2. So the off nights officially are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday as usual. However, Thursday is not really that busy, so you may have room in your lineup for a couple of players. Tuesday and Saturday are pretty busy, so there's a pretty high likelihood that your lineups will be full those 2 days. So what teams have a good schedule? Well, the teams that play 4 games, there's only 4 teams that play 4 games. That's Montreal, Ottawa, Tampa Bay, and Utah. There's teams that play 2 off nights at the most, and those teams are Chicago, Edmonton, LA, Montreal again, Nashville, and New York Rangers. So the team with the best schedule based on this is Montreal, 2 off nights and 4 total games, which is really good. What teams don't have the best schedule? That's Anaheim, Buffalo, Detroit, and Winnipeg, because they only play 2 games apiece. And Anaheim, Buffalo, and Detroit, their 2 games are on the 2 busiest nights of the week, so really not the best. Winnipeg, at least one of their 2 games is on Friday, which is not a busy night. Now, in terms of forwards, the best ones to be grabbing are Patrick Laine of the Montreal Canadiens. Been doing really well since being in Montreal. I know Montreal's on a bit of a cold streak, but that's bound to end soon. He's on the top power play, shooting the puck. Should definitely provide some fantasy value this week on a week where Montreal has a really great fantasy schedule. Dylan Holloway has really exceeded all expectations this year in St. Louis and is turning out to be a really great young player. Uri Slafkovsky of the Montreal Canadiens is on the top line and top power play with Suzuki and Caulfield, and he is starting to heat up a little bit. And on a week where Montreal has such a favorable schedule, why not add him? Sam Bennett. Now, he was dropped in a lot of leagues. He was over 70% owned, if I'm not mistaken, at some point this season. And yeah, he slowed down offensively, but lately in his last, I think, 5 games, he's got 3 goals, and his safe floor is always there with the hits and the shots, so I really don't mind Sam Bennett. Pierre-Luc Dubois of the Washington Capitals is someone who is doing really good, especially as of late, scoring lots of points, easy add right now in your fantasy hockey lineup. Pavel Dorofeyev as well, doing great in Vegas, getting top power play deployment, and is putting up plenty of goals and points. Blake Coleman right now is the hottest player in Calgary, putting up a good safe floor with some points. Alexi Protas is a super inconsistent player. He'll go on very long streaks doing nothing, but right now he's back on one of his hot streaks, so he is an ad. Adam Fantilli is playing on the top line in Columbus and top power play with Monahan out, so definitely he's got some value. Jonathan Drouin, I don't know why he's not being added in more leagues, but he's consistently scoring points, playing on the top power play with McKinnon. Pavel Zacha of the Boston Bruins, 17% rosters, playing on the top line with Pastrnak. And for some reason, he's being dropped in more leagues than he's being added in. As of late, he's actually been scoring points. I don't hate it. Tyler Bertuzzi of the Chicago Blackhawks has got a favorable schedule this week, with Chicago having a couple of off nights. He's playing top line and top power play with Connor Bedard. It's really not a bad deployment. He's someone who could score some goals. Boone Jenner, you have room on your IR. Add him to your IR. He's a dude who can make a serious difference. He's a guy who puts up a very safe floor every single night and should get some pretty good deployment upon his return after the break for the 4 Nations. Garnet Hathaway, someone who is a great Sherwood replacement. If you need hits in a categories league or even in a points league, if you want a safe floor, Hathaway is that guy. The other night, he did get 10 hits in a night. The night before, he got 0. He's a little bit inconsistent, but overall, the hits are pretty high for him. Shane Pinto on a league where Ottawa has a pretty favorable schedule and plays Monday and Tuesday. Pinto is a guy who has been pretty hot as of late, and I really don't mind the ad, even if you're just adding for that Monday game, since Ottawa and Nashville are the only teams that play Monday. Next, I have 3 Calgary Flames. 2 of them just came to them in a trade, Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee. Those guys are probably going to start off on the 3rd line and 2nd power play, but Calgary rolls both their power plays pretty evenly, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do on a new team. If you're in a super deep league, why not add them, and in case they start going off? Matt Coronado is a guy who gives you a pretty safe floor with the hits and is getting top power play deployment at this moment. He did just come off a game where he scored a goal with a couple of assists, Why not ride off that momentum? Tommy Novak of the Nashville Predators is someone who plays on that Monday night. Nashville does have 2 off nights this week, and obviously, guys, the Monday night, there's not a lot of players playing, right? Just Nashville and Ottawa. So Novak is someone who's been pretty hot, so why not take a shot on him? And then Frank Nazar of the Chicago Blackhawks is playing on that top line with Bedard. And if you're in need for someone who potentially could put up points on a couple off nights this week, not a bad option. Darnell Nurse is the first guy on Edmonton. Pretty safe floor, points fairly frequently. Drew Doughty of the Los Angeles Kings is back from injury. They got shut out 2 games in a row, so he hasn't really been able to do anything offensively, but I do have faith in Drew Doughty. Seth Jones has been going off offensively on Chicago Blackhawks team and his top power play there. Aaron Ekblad is back from his injury and is back on the top power play and is scoring points. Jake Middleton is someone who gives you a safe floor each and every night, which I like a lot. Jackson Lacombe seems to be back in the offensive column. 3 games in a row now, he's got points. He did go on a little bit of a cold streak. This week is not my favorite week to be picking him up, considering Anaheim only plays Tuesday and Saturday, but maybe if you can wait till later in the week and just scoop him for Saturday and next week, not the worst move. I do like Jackson Lacombe a lot. Tony DeAngelo, top power play in New York Islanders, got 1 point through 3 games so far, but his peripherals haven't been too bad. Darren Radish of the Tampa Bay Lightning is still getting power play time over there. Jared Spurgeon, top power play time in Minnesota, and so far, since coming back from his injury, hasn't done too bad. And lastly, if you want to add Artem Zub for that Monday night game that Ottawa has, I don't hate it. He gives you a pretty safe floor with blocks, and he's got some other peripherals as well. So especially if you're in a categories league, I don't hate that ad. For goalies, Montembeault and Dovesh both play 2 games this week. Montreal has 2 sets of back-to-backs. Therefore, both guys are going to get 2 starts. Don't mind that. Kevin Lankinen of the Vancouver Canucks is playing very well and should continue to get some starts. Cam Talbot of the Detroit Red Wings is a starter right now and is playing very, very well. Jake Allen is a starter right now in New Jersey until Markstrom comes back, and that's not going to be for a little while. But Melka and Ingram right now are splitting starts in Utah. 38% owned, 33% owned. Both guys are viable. Nostal and Gibson are 35 and 14% rostered and are splitting starts in Anaheim. Both guys are viable there as well. Charlie Lindgren is getting half the starts in Washington. I don't hate that. For Columbus, Elvis Merzlikins is getting the majority of the starts there, and as of late, is playing very, very well. Merilainen and Forsberg are the guys in Ottawa, and right now, Forsberg seems like more of the guy than Merilainen. They're either going to get 2 starts each this week, or Forsberg's going to get 3, unless Ullmark returns. So obviously, keep your eye on that. If Ullmark returns, Merilainen will be sent back to the AHL. Samuel Ersson of the Philadelphia Flyers is the starter right now in Philadelphia and has been playing much better as of late. Alex Nedeljkovic of the Pittsburgh Penguins is the guy right now in Pittsburgh, been way outplaying Blomqvist, so he is the starter over there. And finally, Peter Mrazek is the starter in Chicago. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks a lot, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.